we held an emergency council meeting to discuss the COVID-19 outbreak and our response to it, and we declared a state of emergency locally. And with that, we're going to into our pandemic operations mode, which is part of our emergency response plan. And we've updated that plan, but it was already in place from the swine flu outbreak in 2009. And so we are just re-implementing that and kind of tweaking things a bit. But essentially, we're going to move to a case where we have the front door of City Hall shut, and there will be no more public-facing operations at the city. We will be going into an operations mode where we have those of us that can work remotely will be working remotely, and we'll have up to 2 staff members at City Hall at any one time, but they will not be available to the public. And so we're asking the public to contact us via phone at 651-429-3232, or to email us at info@centervillemn.com, or visit our website where all of our permits and applications for licensure and that kind of thing are online and can be submitted online. Payment can be made online. And so luckily we've had those technologies in place for a while, and we're not scrambling to put those together. But so we have a lot of the technology in place, and we're hopeful that people will start to utilize those more and more. And going forward, we're anticipating this could be a bit longer than just a 2-week hiatus, and so we want to be prepared for a sustainable operation. And that's, the city is committed to continuing operations. And then from the public works side, we're very committed to sewer and water, obviously, which is vitally important to our public safety, almost as important as police or fire. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that those systems operate and are as resilient as possible. And again, those are things that we've been prepared for quite some time. We've had redundancy built into our sewer and water systems for many years, and we have that again. We don't anticipate any issues with those systems because this isn't a natural disaster. This is a different type. But one thing we are concerned about is the lack of toilet paper, that people are going to be flushing things they shouldn't be flushing. So again, folks, just remember that toilet paper is the only thing that you flush. Paper towels even, or anything that you might think is biodegradable, might be in 100 years, but it's not fast enough for our sewer pumps to handle. We have made upgrades to those pumps over the last few years to help with those things, but they're not foolproof. And so that is a situation we're monitoring, is our sewer lift stations and the pumps there that make sure those continue to run. Our water system is very safe. I know that there's been some people out there that have asked, can this virus get into the water? I want to assure you that our city water system is very safe. It's a very closed system. It's not open to the air or to people's touch. It's the well and the treatment system are all very closed systems, and there's no human interaction with those facilities. And so we're very confident that our water system and supply is safe, and there's no reason to believe it won't be unimpacted by this crisis. That being said, our public works professionals, we want to make sure that they are healthy, and so to that end, we are looking at staggering shifts and/or going to splitting our staff into groups that would work 1 week at a time, and while the other ones are quarantined at home, just to make sure that we have adequate personnel and that we don't have someone ill at work and that infects our entire staff at one time. And so for a bit here at least, we will probably go to that type of system where we have a rotational type report for duty at our Public Works Department. And again, that's just to make sure that we have people to be able to show up to address an emergency. So those are sort of the actions we're taking at the City Hall and Public Works level. Our police and fire are taking precautions as well to keep their folks safe. And again, it's about safety of our folks, but it's also about not having us spread it to the public. And also just being able to have enough people healthy to respond to police and fire calls. And that's our main concern, is that we don't want everyone to get sick all at the same time. And so we are doing all sorts of things to keep those folks healthy as we can. So those might include social distancing. We're canceling training, any sort of trainings those folks are going to be doing. We've canceled any sort of group events of any sort. again, staggering shifts where we can, and just taking necessary precautions. I think people sometimes, though, forget that this is kind of the thing that police and fire deal with on a daily basis. They're dealing with people who are infected with all sorts of things, and quite honestly, this isn't much new for them to be able to interact with folks that might have some sort of communicable disease. And they're used to putting themselves in harm's way, and we're going to ask them to do that again. However, they are taking some precautions, and there will be some adjustments to their protocols going forward just to minimize that risk. All things will pass, right? And this too shall pass. I think the tough part for everybody right now is how long will it take to pass? And right now, that's why we're kind of setting up for a longer stretch of time than just 2 weeks. We're setting up to be sustainable really indefinitely. But we anticipate, that within a month or two here, we'll be back to fairly normal operation. But we've got in our plan sort of phased approaches, and right now we've kind of ramped up into phase 2, which is a bit more extreme measures, but we certainly are ready to, when it's appropriate, to go back to phase 1, where we're doing a bit more public interaction, but still taking precautions as social distancing and disinfection of surfaces and public surfaces. But yeah, we're encouraged that I think everyone's taking this very seriously, and we're glad that we've got good leadership here at the state and local level to keep us safe and direct us in the right direction. We've got good partnership with the county, and they're providing a lot of good resources as well. And a lot of talk, for instance, about community events and on the other side of this thing. And are we going to have city festivals? Are we going to have music in the park and those types of things as the summer months come here? And we're very much still planning for those things. At this point, we're suspending some of the early spring type things, but certainly by midsummer we're hoping to be back up and running as far as those type of community events. Of course, as the situation evolves, things will change, but for now we do have some restaurants that are open for pickup and delivery. You'll want to kind of check with them, either give them a call or look at their websites. We do have most businesses in town still open, as long as it's not a type of community gathering type of place. And so I encourage you to continue to use those businesses and utilize their online tools as much as you can, but certainly our local businesses now more than ever would love to have your support. Right now we're suspending Planning Commission, Parks and Rec, and EDA indefinitely unless there is a pressing issue. City Council meetings, the next City Council meeting will be held in person here, and it will be televised as it normally would be. We're asking folks that if they plan to attend, to call City Hall so that we can understand what level of public participation there might be at the next meeting. If there is a bit too much, we may look at other options or venues. But at this point, we're planning to have that meeting on Wednesday the 25th in person. And we will, in that City Council meeting, we do anticipate the resignation of the mayor, as he's stated at the last meeting, and we will name a new mayor at that meeting. After that meeting, so our beginning in April, we would most likely have our City Council meetings via some type of FaceTime or other video chat platform. I think to keep up to date, the best place is probably our website and Anoka County's website. But we will be pushing things out through Twitter and Facebook. So that, again, the city's handle there is @CentervilleMN for both those platforms. And so we will continue to update those as we can.